we do have empty classrooms like you're talking about, we said a few in each room, which lets the district move, however big classes. They hope not to do a bond issue for 7 to 10 years. And the reason why we always say to do that is because of the construction costs. If we wait and we do it if we plan for 3 to 5 years and we get our 13 classrooms, in 3 years from now, or 4 years from now, you're gonna be back in the same exact room. And what I hate about that, as a parent, as a nurse, is I'm just tired of dealing with that. Even when you have, in this specific case, you have a no tax increase. Other districts are not that fortunate, so you have both sides of that. It would be better to plan better and to hope that you can plan ahead, and the high school did that. And some of the other options where we add each classroom building, just to give you, from an architect side of things, when you do that, and you can, we know in 4 or 5 years, we'll come back and they'll do another bond issue, and we're gonna run into a problem with that bond issue, because now we've run out of space. Like, we can't really add on to the ECC much anymore, because we don't really own land around it. The upper elementary, I mean, we just keep taking parking lot out, which doesn't bother me, probably makes some of these people mad over here. But hey, listen, I'm just talking about that's the most efficient way to do it, so it doesn't make everybody happy. Same thing at the high school, same thing at the middle school, we can't stop the growth. We've grown almost as much as we can until we really want to spend some money. Or buy other land, which you see in other districts having to buy land first before they can do another bond issue. That happens in almost every district.
Well, the problem with buying land is when they know the school needs
Yeah.
it, they drop the prices up.
Oh, yeah,
And
100%.
then you're out more money for the land.
Yeah.
And
Well,
years ago, the land around here was pretty cheap.
Yeah.
Now, you cannot find acreages or lots around here for under 10,000 an acre.
I've considered selling mine, just
Yeah.
to find someplace in the country again, but
So Richburg is fortunate or unfortunate, it's not as rural as we want anymore.
right. Well, see, I grew up here, I went to school here. So things have drastically changed since they kicked me out of the school year. But like Mike said earlier, it becomes a cyclical issue, even if we build this new high school today. 5 or 10 years from now, we're gonna have another.
Okay, more.
Okay.
Yes.
And at some point, well, I said at what point does it stop?
When the
That's-
land runs out and the building quits,
Right.
unfortunately. I mean, and that's the problem, like, if we wanted to project for a size increase for 10 years from now, where we wouldn't have to do this again, you're talking hundreds of millions of dollars. No one's, I wouldn't vote for that. I mean, I write a huge check every year for property taxes.
Right.
It sucks, but unfortunately, this is the only way to get it done. And we were trying to go for a tax extension, not an actual increase. And it wouldn't be us that's increasing your taxes, it extends the bond. We
Right.
can't control what the assessor assesses your taxes at. And don't get me started on them.
And then,
But, I mean, that's the thing, like, everyone kept saying, it's not an extension, it's an increase. We can't control what the assessor assesses your value at.
it is, and that, I'm just gonna be honest, that state question's gonna pass. You're, after August, your assessor won't be able to increase your taxes as much per year, or your assessment per year.
3% right now.
It's 3% right now, I think it's gonna vote down to 1.75.
3% if you have homestead.
If you have a homestead exemption. That's gonna
So if
happen.
you don't have homestead, you need to.
And
file.
that, what that does for us is we have to start, now the way our bond company recalculates bonds is gonna change because we go off the value of the district. It's called net assessed valuation. And that's the value of the district as a whole. Everybody's home, everybody's land, all the vacant land, all the improved land, that is put into the net assessed valuation. That dictates our bonding capacity. Now that's a different night because I'm gonna have the bond guy come later in this series to explain how bonds work and how they come up with numbers and all that. That's gonna be in the August meeting. But he's gonna come so y'all can ask him questions about that. But for just a quick thing, when that happens, that means our structure to get the same amount of money we're gonna have to go out longer.
Well, I've already put as many cars, school buses, ambulances, and junk in my yard as I possibly can. So everybody else needs to do their part with our property taxes.
Well, we've done our share. so-
Right?
Now, I don't know if it would be an option, but what about finding the grade level, I guess, that would be growing the most and just doing that, kind of do like small bonds at it? Does that make sense?
Well, because
That grade
it's,
level moves each year.
Yeah.
And so each year you're gonna have to add more rooms for that grade. So I asked them to go.
at this
seventh
point, it's
grade,
8th grade, so
seventh and
upcoming
grade,
8th grade.
pretty
Right.
much. But eventually they're gonna be 8th, 9th, 10th grades. And the 100 pre-K kids that right now, that's a limit.
That's
it.
Yeah.
because we capped
That's
out at
it.
100.
It's capped.
Well,
But when they get to kindergarten, that number
That's-
goes to 150.
that's gonna go up to 120 with the teacher.
You know what I'm saying?
But,
And you talked in the past about which campus has grown, has seen the most growth in the last 5 years.
it's, the last 5 years has been middle school, high school.
Yeah.
Or the five,
But again, the whole idea, and I'll go back, since we're hired as a designer, so I think, the whole idea of that problem, that's a district problem in the sense that we all of a sudden have a big 7th grade class moving through, where we have, somebody moves in and a whole bunch of kids transfer. However, you have the ability, when we built the high school, to free up 4 or 5 classrooms in each building. One of those buildings might have 0, if that's the quote, big class that year. But we don't know who's moved in those houses or who's showing up. So it leaves the district some flexibility.
and I'll give you an example, like on pre-K, right now, up until this coming year, we've always capped it at 100. Okay, we cap it at 100. As soon as they move to kindergarten, they're at 130. Because some parents don't choose to send their kids to pre-K, and that's okay, but we can plan for that. And now we're trying to plan for the 317 homes coming in.
Okay.
Unfortunately, you don't know if those are gonna be newer families that
Right.
haven't started having kids, kids with teenagers, kids with kids who are 3 to 6. that are
Hopefully
gonna
it's all people
automatically
65
start
and
school.
over. Retired, senior citizens.
And that goes towards building that 65+ community.
Right.
Yeah.
I wish they
So
could, I could sell all day long.
it's a unique situation, and you said it, I think a couple of you said it, our hands are tied of what we can do. And I have to look at it, I mean, I don't wanna pay property tax either, I would love for mine to go down. I would love for them to cap my property tax too, because I'm a taxpayer. But as the superintendent, I gotta figure out a way to keep our district moving forward. I gotta keep a way to keep them safe.
Right.
I gotta do it as efficiently as possible. And not everybody's gonna agree with me, that's fine. But I got 5 people to answer to. They answer to the community ultimately. And we're trying to get that input, because what we tried last time, there was a sticker shock issue. But the fact of take the sticker shock out of it, we still gotta have close to that many classrooms to plan for what's coming. Now, some people may think that's not coming, but if you've looked at the trend data, that is actual data, it's not up until I made the estimations. That is our trend data since 2016.
Right.
Well, and with that, if we get more rental property in this area, we're gonna have more kids.
Oh, yeah.
Duplexes.
Duplexes,
That's why
apartments,
they shouldn't
anything.
build duplexes.
Anything, we're gonna get more kids.
I have a client looking for rural property in rural water district, in Rich Creek School District, that wants to build an apartment complex.
We don't have it. We don't have it.
The other thing is, he's a little cheaper, and he's not going to spend the price tag on house. But, I mean, it's
Overflowing,
happening.
whatever you gotta do. I know it cuts into information, but whatever you gotta do, overflowing.
We'll get a GoFundMe going for you or something.
You're seeing the farmers getting older, the generation's not wanting to take over,
Right.
and they're selling that
Selling
land, and
land.
the developers are swooping it up.
Right.
It sucks. It happened right across the street from my house.
I know.
But, I
We
mean,
drive by it every day.
Yes. But I mean, it's horrible. Well, but I guess the big question is, I mean, reasonably speaking, we need the community's help.
Okay.
Because obviously our first bond didn't pass.
Right.
So if we decided to go for another new school bond, would it be better with a little bit lower of a price tag if we kind of, I don't know, uglied it up? I don't
How
know how else
much-
to say it. like
Yeah.
not as
Not as
fancy.
fancy.
I mean, what, the thing is, those little aesthetic things aren't gonna take a lot off their price tag, it's the structure that's gonna
Right.
cost.
I had him estimate that for me, back when it failed.
Mhm.
And, you know, cause everybody said the picture we sent out was way too fancy. If we went to a generic outside, it was only gonna take $500,000 worth of price tag.
I mean, $500,000 a lot of money.
What, but in the scheme of 46 million for what that was being, the construction cost of that, I mean, that might get us one more classroom. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
But then you
Right.
also say 46 million in the scheme of that, but then that's also adding, of the 500,000, it's also the interest and the,
Yeah, so it's
and
more like a
the,
million.
all the things.
Right, that takes
That's more
away-
than just
Which,
500,000.
but I understand that that's still interest and all of that, I mean, it still
So
adds
it's
up.
1/46 of that number.
Yeah, it
Right.
still adds up, but look at it from this standpoint. If we throw out, what is it, 46 million for the new building? So if we throw out 45 million, it doesn't make it much better.
Right.
I mean, that's the thing, like, yes,
The
it's only
sticker shock's still
500,000,
there.
but everyone's gonna turn around and say, well, you only knocked $1 million off.
And
Right.
don't forget, when we go to the hospital, I mean, I think it was 43 million anyway, but even when we go to the hospital, like, there's ways that we can change things as well, like, we're obviously designing this and developing on an estimated cost, right? So, it's what we see typical in schools. If you come to me and say, I want it like Edmond, I'm gonna tell you, it's not 43 million. Because we're not putting Terrazzo Florida, I'm not doing.
I'm not voting yes for anything that's like that.
So we're putting those numbers based on what you have in the district now, so you're gonna have a comparable budget to what you have
And
now.
the last
So
building,
we do stay with that, and we do, those estimates go up and down, and don't forget, if it doesn't get used, for instance, if costs go down for some reason, if costs go down, or we get better pricing one way or the other, that money just goes back to the district. So they can use it however they want, they can pay off more fines, it just saves you some money, so if we're looking at this game
Or
of
I mean,
40
we use it for
million.
the next thing on the list, I mean, we don't.
Well,
Yeah.
and like for me, a lot of it, can you pull up that slide where it showed the ones that has your 4 objectives on there?
yeah,
So for me, a lot of it has to do with
this
each time we see a bond, we're seeing things about electives, sports, things like that.
Mhm.
If we're needing classrooms to better educate our kids in this community, I understand 80% of what you get from a bond has to go, 85, okay, so
But-
85% has to
but
go
we-
to that. But out of that 15%, if that 15% goes to upgrade football stadium or upgrade basketball gym, whatever, that to me is an irresponsible use of those funds. Okay? I understand kids like to have fun, that's great. But with Oklahoma's horrible number in education, should we focus more on what's gonna better educate the kids rather than building a fancy football field? Let's take this room here for instance, how many classrooms could you make out of this room? And honestly, how many?
At least two.
One. Okay, so let's just say one.
You could make 2 out of it.
We could probably make 2 out of it.
That'd be
But
small.
That'd be a smaller classroom.
We'll say 2
As it sits,
elementary
without adding all the
classrooms,
extra
smaller
stuff.
kids.
So-
Half the kids.
But the one thing, you know, you could possibly make 2, but this room, if this room wasn't built for students, if we built this room for students, it would increase the cost of what this room cost us to build.
Okay,
Well, my
so,
question is,
Building this building that we built,
Cause this was built like a
freed
house.
up actual classroom space.
Right.
And we were able to do this cheaper than adding on classrooms. Because classrooms cost more because you have kids in there, and apparently the safety of the adults isn't that big of a deal.
And at the time, the safe room requirements were more stringent now than they were starting with this last legislative session.
right. Okay, so having all that in mind, you've got the portable buildings.
Mhm.
I know y'all are not gonna like what I'm about to say.
That's okay.
So everybody take a deep breath.
Let's say we take this room right here, we put a wall down the middle of it, bam, 2 Title I classrooms. Okay? That's gonna free up another classroom somewhere else, right? Or another couple classrooms somewhere else, okay? Cause they can only have 10 kids in that class. Okay, that's per law. So this could easily be split into 2 rooms, 10 kids apiece, 2 teachers. That's gonna open, I don't know what the size of the other classroom is that they're in right now.
Smaller than the size of the office in there.
So, again, I haven't seen any of that, but if we took buildings like the admin buildings, the offices and things like that, moved those to the portables, opened up some of those interior solid structure rooms, and again, like I said, I know none of y'all are gonna like what I got to say about that, but would that help create that more classroom space?
Those portables still have to be handicap accessible
Mhm.
for community people to come in
Correct?
and for students to come in and out. So if you moved admin and you had somebody that was in a wheelchair per se,
Mhm.
you would have to make sure it had a ramp, and that ramp was covered, so it would not get ice and snow on it to make it miserable. I'm saying, so that's what they would do.
Right.
So,
So do the portables not
they
have
have ramps, but
They have
they're not,
ramps, but they're not covered.
they're not covered.
But to answer your question, theoretically, yes, that can be done, but it's not gonna solve the problem because you're gonna be, a year later, you're gonna have the same problem with the growth that we're expecting.
Right. Well, I mean, based on your numbers with the growth that we're expecting, we're never gonna have an end to this problem. Do you understand what I'm saying?
We're hoping to prolong it as long as we
Right.
can, not to have this same conversation in the community every 2 to 3 years. Because all that happens in this conversation is people get mad at each other, and that's not healthy.
Right, and I agree that everybody needs to like come together on a lot more stuff. But I would almost rather see a number that's gonna end our property taxes at some point.
Say that again.
I would rather see a number that's gonna end our property tax at some point. So like, for instance, when is the current bonds gonna fall off of property taxes?
2032.
Okay.
But that's just part of it. That's just the sinking fund part of it. That's not your general fund or your building fund.
34 mil, 36 mil,
34.
so 34%.
So at what year,
Yeah.
what year is all of it that's coming to the school gonna fall?
Right now, the general fund and building fund's never gonna fall off. It's permanent.
Okay.
That's part of that goes to the funding of the school. On the general fund side and the building fund side, the sinking fund is the one that deals with bond issues. It's separate. That's the one that fluctuates by the capacity and the bonding that the school does. The general fund millage for us is 36 mils, and it's gonna stay that way. Building fund's like 5.7 mils. It's gonna stay that way. That's how the state made school funding. Until the state changes it, those two are never gonna go away.
So can fundraisers be used to help build buildings?
Yes, but when you're talking 46 million, how you?
It's a lot of fundraising. I understand. Well, I mean, I'm a big guy, I can eat a lot of things. What was that?
I said, unfortunately, we can't get parents to volunteer with concession stands.
We got about 13.
It goes more than
We've
that.
got a long way to go to hit a number like that, to even hit the number just to have the classrooms on each side. We just don't, Rich Creek doesn't have that kind of money, I mean, unfortunately.
Right,
You know,
and that's,
I mean,
Just hit up the big builders, the ones that
Right.
are running it around here anyway. Hit up DR.
I have never once seen Home Creations, LGI Homes, DR Horton ever donate money to local schools.
and they won't.
Ever.
Go to them, tell them, hey, you know,
Because they won't,
you're
because
causing a problem.
then every school district that they build in is gonna have their hand out,
Right.
and they won't make any money.
So,
The only way you're ever gonna get those builders to do it is you need to go to a big district where they build 500 homes, and all of a sudden they donate 20 acres in the center. And only because when you build the 500 homes, the school will be full, but they'll give it to the school.
Right.
But
Like you
it'll already be full because
donate
the
for
building.
their last bond that failed this last year. And the only reason they did it is because the amount of money she's gonna make off the property she's building.
Hmm?
We don't have somebody here doing that.
Right.
so
Well,
yeah.
my question
Go
I'm
ahead.
dying to ask
Go ahead.
is, what you guys obviously are homeowners here, and you've got ideas. What do you see that would make it better for the school to pass something that would let us be able to grow, in the capacity that we need to grow. What solution can you?
And that's what I'm
give?
trying to
Yeah,
get to.
what solution can you help us give? Because
So-
obviously, I mean, literally, in my classroom, it was built for 18 kids. I've taken everything out of that room I can take out. I have no storage space at all. So I have no shelves in my room.
Right.
The shelves I have in there is used to store the supplies the kids use. I have 4 shelves. I have 2 cabinets used to hold science supplies that I use all year long. I'm fine with that. I take stuff home and I carry it back because we have any space for the kids. I went 5 years without a desk because I needed space for my children to sit in that room.
How many kids do you have in your class?
I average 24 every year and sometimes I get up to 30.
Okay.
But that is elementary kids. That's a lot of kids to try to meet the needs of.
Oh, we homeschool 5, I understand.
And it's a lot. And see, we have people that homeschool, we have people that have them in private schools, and I understand that. If it was feasible, I'd be doing it. But my grandson has to come to school because his parents cannot afford to stay home teaching.
Right.
And the only opportunity they would have is if I were to quit and stay home and teach him. And then I wouldn't be able to make my living.
No.
Because I barely make it now. But as teachers, even the ones that rooms are empty for 30 minutes or an hour a day, they are taking so much home. We've got teachers that have storage units rented and are paying for it out of pocket to store school supplies. I have a storage building behind my house for school supplies that I cannot store here because there's not space here to store. So I have to carry it in.
I just have a crowded room. I store it.
And so you either have a crowded room or you have space for kids.
Right.
And if you've got 24 to 30 kids in that room that was built for 18, you're almost, and I've jokingly told him this for the last 4 years, we need bunk desks. We need 2-story desks to have the kids in our rooms because we're getting that many. And it's not the amount of teachers, it's just we have that many people here and we are growing that fast in this area that we can't keep up with it here at the school because we do not have businesses to pay taxes that the other districts do. We have just the homeowners. And I understand that tax is awful. I pay it. I pay it on my farm, I pay it on my house, my daughter pays it. It's awful. But we gotta do what's best for our kids.
I mean, it sucks because we either have what's
I
possible
understand,
2
you're,
years.
no, I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth. I'm not giving you a soft story, I'm telling you the truth. You're not in our hallways, you're not in our buildings. When we're lining up kids to take them out to the buses, you cannot walk down that hall. When we're having to take them across the street to the safe rooms, if it was a hailstorm, would you want to get hit in the head with a hailstorm? I know I wouldn't want my kid. I don't want my kids I teach to get hit either. It's not a sob story. It's the truth. And it's a hard truth.
So where are current safe rooms located?
There's, is it 8 down here or 6? 8 down here. The room on the outside of the gym is the one for the middle school in the community that was built in 15.
Right.
There's 4 in the high school.
That's it.
Okay, now high school's up here,
Middle school where the gym's at.
middle school, where
On
the
the,
old
on
high
the
school.
roof,
Yeah,
on the
is.
north side of the gym, its capacity is 521, which covers the middle school and any community that comes up. That's the one we open up.
Now, is that the one that has the 2 locker rooms on the north end of it?
No.
Has that been redone?
No,
There used to be a
no,
gym there.
that gym doesn't have safe rooms. It's the gym next to it that we built in 2015.
Okay.
So,
I'm gonna have to come up and do a walkthrough of this
Anytime.
place at some point,
Anytime.
because so much has apparently changed since I
But-
was there.
it's,
We only got about 7 minutes left, but I want to get to, are there other solutions that we can write on the board to have other people look at? Because July 9th, there will be different people here. And the goal is to combine the solutions and then give the people that show up the ability to give final input before it's presented to the board or in the full community.
So 40-foot underground containers. That takes care of safe room, that takes care of fires, you put a couple of sprinklers in it, yeah.
As a community, would you rather see a lower amount in a short-term solution or a higher amount in a longer-term solution?
None.
Well,
That's,
higher
I
amount,
mean,
long-term.
I know, unfortunately, none is the perfect answer,
Right.
but the
None
district's
is the
growing.
answer you're
There's
getting.
nothing, I mean, none isn't an option, unfortunately. I mean, it's just not.
The
Or
higher
we
amount
start bringing in more
long-term.
portables.
I think the higher amount long term, but then the short term, how many short terms, I think, are you looking at to make up? To
Well,
get
that's
the same number of
our
classrooms, same
current-
stuff.
The option two where we just.
Option two that we looked, got 13 classrooms.
But we locked out one site, where after that, we would not be able to have any.
And if you look at 13 classrooms, it's gonna take 18 months to build.
And then you're full at.
Well, you may not be full when you,
Are you full when you open?
well, the last time we did that, when we did 2 at every site, it took 18 months to build.
And then you were full.
And we opened them two school years ago. This is the 3rd year we've used them, or second?
Yes.
3rd year, they're full.
Yeah.
That's
So-
why we're here, that's why we're
So
here.
the short-term solution,
Is
we're full when
a
we
couple of
open.
years.
Yeah.
And
so
these
then
last
we have
these
another-
last 3 years haven't been a very high enrollment increase.
Right.
Okay,
Don't forget the biggest item in there, from the architect side of things, you can do as many monitors as you want. 13 gets you to 3 to 5 years, because that's what everybody was estimating, might be 3, might be 5. The problem you have is, don't forget, the 1 hour tag up there, it goes up 7% a year, right, construction does, so we wait 3 years, we just went up 20%. So whatever you do 3 to 5 years from now, it will not be the same cost.
Right.
How much land do we have now to work with?
Approximately 22 acres.
is that for the entire school?
Until, that's
Well-
not built on.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's, yeah.
I
I was gonna say, I swear there's more than 22
North,
acres.
north of the.
It's 24.2,
Yeah,
what's
I think it's
unimproved, but there's that pipeline that runs north of the school that takes out part of it.
Right.
Let me find you the slide that has that on it.
It's a weird shape.
Yes, ma'am.
When you were talking about, we're talking about the growth for the hospital in Newcastle, your numbers are very low. I just got confirmation, phase 1 is 2,500 minimum employees at the hospital. So, of 3 phases, you're looking at 6,500 employees.
Wow. I said the person I inquired, it was 600 phase 1.
This is from,
So, back to my question, what can you guys see that we can do that would help being able to meet the needs that we've got?
So for me personally, like I mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
every bond issue we've seen has had something to do with sports center,
Right?
okay? If we truly need the classroom space, that sports money needs to stop, period.
Okay?
That needs to go to classrooms, that needs to go to education.
There needs to be a bond
There
that's
can-
just strictly
Yeah.
classrooms, nothing
It's-
about sports.
It's kinda like when they write a new law, we're gonna raise minimum wage. And then down here in the bottom on the fine print, it says, but this is gonna cause taxes, or could cause taxes at the state's discretion to go up. Non-disclosed amounts.
So you
So-
can take anything athletic off of it, what?
Well, and then I know you said no wasted space.
No wasted space.
No wasted
And
space.
the other thing that would help is to get rid of this 15% that goes to whatever you want.
Okay, I'm gonna
If you
address
have
that,
left over, that should go back to just pay the bond off early.
but you still have to pay the interest and taxes on it even if you give it back. Cause the last time we had money left over, I called our finance guy and says, I got $1 million left over. And he said, well, don't give it back because half of it's gonna have to go to taxes.
So then let's put it to a practical use and build more classrooms.
You're probably.
You see what I'm saying?
If you can build a set of
If there's
classrooms
enough
for
money left
500,000.
over, I mean, if
Right.
there's enough money left over, that's how we built the kitchen, is it not?
yes.
That's how we built the kitchen onto the upper elementary.
Thank you.
So, I mean, that way, they wouldn't have to cross the street anymore.
Right.
We actually had the means to do it, so we did it. That was
Just
what we
to
wanted.
spend it on
We tried
transportation, you have to
that
write
one.
a transportation.
Everything
law.
that is needed in the area is needed.
You can't.
So, what I'm hearing is you want a more commercial type zone, that a business could possibly go in and use if it needed to. You have just a simple narrow hallway, you've got all areas are used in for either classrooms or restrooms. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well,
Yeah, I mean, like for instance, I brought up, before the bond, what was it, the 100 by 80 building that I got quotes on.
Right.
Now that quote was just a standard commercial building, yada, 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 it come out like $1 million.
Right.
That didn't include a safe room.
Was it finished out or just a
That was interior finished out completely, plumbing, windows, doors, insulation, electrical, you name it, it was there.
but was it fire marshal okay for students?
Well, and that's the thing, I don't know. Okay, so like I was a fire chief, I wanted to build a new fire department, or I wanted to add on to my fire department. I was gonna build 4 drive-through bays, electrical, plumbing, everything on it. The total cost finished, concrete poured and everything was less than $500,000 for that. Now we're talking about a fire department, not a school. There's a big difference. We don't have interior walls, we don't have drywall, we don't have lighting, we don't have any of that stuff. So the cost of what I was looking at building significantly cheaper than what a school would be, obviously.
Right.
But if we take that building that I got quotes on, that would have added 9 classrooms, 2 restrooms. That would have had an 8-foot wide hallway, I believe it was. No, it was more than that, because I accounted for the 2-foot lobby space on each side. I think it was 12-foot hallways, and then it was 20 by 30 classrooms. I can't remember the breakdown, and I'm too tired to math right now. But anyways, it would have added 9 classrooms and 2 bathrooms. Or you could do 8 classrooms, an office, and 2 bathrooms. But again, that didn't cover the
codes that would
the
be
safe
to
room.
make it a school.
So,
Yeah,
the two,
by the way, I read that on Facebook, I can help you out on those numbers, and I don't wanna compare what you do, I do fire stations too, by the way, working on some of those now. But there's
Shameless
no
plug.
way to compare what we do, I hear this all the time, what we do in residential and what you do in commercial. And the simplest one I can think of is, if I hire a painter for my house, he paints that for next to nothing compared to here.
Right.
It's the same thing, in my opinion, it's the same thing, right? The difference being between, yes, licensed, bonded, workers' comp, warranty of the year, there's 3 levels of payment, there's a bunch of things that come into that. I don't wanna go into your scenario, because if we could do it that way, the way you wanna do it, I've already done it that way. I've been doing this 32 years.
So-
Fire stations are different, and they're funded the same, but architecturally and code-wise, they're not the same either.
Right.
So you can do some things on your own, the fire stations are a little bit different than kids. But just to give examples here, there's windows, there's fire suppression systems, there's, rated hallways. I mean, there's a bunch of things that go into that stuff, and the worst part about it is you're bonded, I need warranties, I need 100% of the bond, and when you're doing it yourself, you're easy, like, myself saying.
you said how many classrooms?
9.
9 classrooms, 2
Okay,
bathrooms.
that's how many we just built in the last bond issue, and it was $5.1 million.
Okay.
For 9 basic classrooms. Hers is a metal building. The one at the ECC is a metal building. The one at the middle school is a metal building with a little bit of brick. The one at the high school is a brick building.
Okay, so you just said you got
They're
9,
not comparable though, because that's the problem I have with when we do things like that. They're not comparable in cost, because the one at the ECC is on the side of the cliff.
Yeah,
It's
it
different.
is.
The one in the middle school is different, the one in the high school is a really easy addition, because it was built to a school that was planned to have addition to it.
Well,
So that one was the least expensive of the 2. The total might be that, but they're not all created equal, I guess.
Well, and then we also had to put, in the new park, we had to put sprinkler system. But the old park, it's not there.
Right.
So, you gotta decide what we're gonna do.
And any time you add on, you gotta
Anytime you
update
put it
codes.
on, you have to put
Right.
sprinklers on for kids. You also have to have a way that they can get out of that room in case of emergency.
Well, it should have
Besides
2
the
ways to
one-
get out of
You
that.
gotta egress.
Yeah, and
So,
the one room he's talking about going into has a door. It doesn't have a second way out.
No window?
window. Which
That's
one?
all.
There's no,
But we're having to use
no
it.
workroom.
Well, because it's not a classroom.
It wasn't supposed to be a classroom, but it's supposed to be.
Okay.
It's about 4 times the cost, give or take, if you're just comparing things.
Right.
All right, I mean, if we're,
Well, let him finish his thought.
Yeah, go ahead, finish your thought.
So, if we could take, now, again, I haven't been through every piece of this school, which I intend to do, me and my wife both. I don't know what the space constraints are, all I can do is listen to everybody speak, okay? But if there's a need for more space, why can we not look at those cheaper options? Okay, if we're saying,
What do you mean by cheaper options?
so the metal buildings, for instance, okay? I get it, I've got a metal roof on my house, okay? My house is gonna be different than the school building, but it's still gonna be insulated, still gonna have heat and air, things like that. At the end of the day, the cheaper that price tag gets, the higher your support's gonna go.
Okay.
That's just the bottom line, whatever it takes to do so, the cheaper the price tag is. It's just like you go to a flea market and you got a vendor here that's selling a 1976 Corvette for $1,000 and a vendor here that's selling that same exact car, same shape and everything else, $25,000. You're gonna buy a $1,000 car. I mean, it just makes sense. So
It may not be pretty,
Right, it may
and
not
all
be
that,
as pretty,
but-
this one's paint job may suck, but
I think that's valid, and from the architect side of it, we do balance that cost, just to let you know, and it is a balanced cost based on, our experience over the years. For instance, I'll just give you some short-term examples of that. The cheapest way to do it, I put the vinyl tile that everyone hates, $1 square foot, right? There's a cost to it, right? There's stripping and waxing that thing every year.